Good evening and welcome back to Vanguardian News. I'm your host, Mahfouz Al-Qadir. And I just had a few things I wanted to discuss today. One being, I just saw an article here in Politico, basically giving you an inside story of Michigan's fake voter fraud scandal. You have one person quoting this as being a national embarrassment. I agree. I just think it's Trump's, it's his right. He has the right, if he feels that he was wronged, to go about, using whatever efforts. But sometimes you have to produce evidence, which he has failed to produce. And it is what it is. He's his scoreboard, if you look at the count, he doesn't have not one victory in all these claims. They don't put out any evidence, and you just want to go on a word of just well, I feel wrong. I feel that the votes wasn't properly cast. Dead people were mailing in ballots, and I mean, that right there, he's just playing to his base. Newsmax, all the other conservative type of websites, and that comes on and kind of does his slurpage every now and then, and that's a Trump strategy to distract, confuse, anything to keep your eye off what is the concrete of evidence that they have lacked to produce. So, also I wanted to talk about Mayor Dinkins. Rest in peace to Mayor Dinkins. David Dinkins passed away yesterday. He was 90, I believe he was 90 years old. And, he was a one-term mayor in New York, first African-American mayor of the city. He narrowly won when he was elected. He beat Rudolph Giuliani, and 4 years, he did his 4 years, and it was tumultuous, to say the least, mainly because of the backlash of being the first. Anytime you're the first of something groundbreaking, you receive a lot of backlash, and people they're used to a certain profile, so to speak. Cities such as New York, Chicago, and maybe even LA, to say, a lot of these big cities, the citizens there, they like a certain profile. And Mayor Dinkins was, he did a lot for the city. He defeating crime, and trying to bring the city together. But there was so much division in the city. People talk about cities like Boston as being really kind of polarized by racism. But New York City is right there with them. There's counties in New York City that you rarely see any blacks at all in those counties. And and they're not so kind to black people up in New York City. So don't let the smooth taste fool you. There's a lot of division up there. Although they want to call themselves a melting pot, it is what it is. You want to call yourself a melting pot, but a lot of it was just because of the color of his skin. He was a good man. He did a lot for the city in an effort to bring the city together. He was met with resistance throughout his police department. Other politicians that had political ambitions in the city. And so, to me, he did the best that he could do under the circumstances. In his second term of running, when he ran for re-election there, he was defeated by Rudolph Giuliani narrowly. Mayor Dinkins met a lot of resistance. He was a gentleman. He always represented class to me, someone who cared about his people and cared about Americans and the citizens of New York. And he tried to put them first in every decision that he made and any initiative that he brought to the table. He had the citizens of New York first in his mindset. So I just wanted to give us a couple words in remembrance to him. I know he lost his wife about a month ago, and I know he's survived by his son. So I wish the Dinkins family well in these difficult times, and I give my condolences to the family. And you had the mayor was a great man, and he was alpha. So 1906, as they say. So he was a beacon for the alphas, and he did a lot of good things. And I've heard some gentlemen that came on TV, and particularly on the Roland Martin platform, that were speaking very kindly of him. And every time I see Mayor Dinkins smile, it just lights up the room. And he always seemed like this guy that you can actually build with and have a conversation with. And what's gonna tell you to do the right thing, and stand by your convictions. If you believe in what's right, to step out there on a limb and champion it. And he always came across in interviews and in his photos and just his speeches as a warm individual with a kind heart. So we wish his family well going forward. And once again, rest in glory, Mayor Dinkins. And that's it for me. I just thought I'd get on for a few minutes and just talk about him in remembrance. Also bring up this ridiculous subject of Donald Trump. But he seems to face reality now. And just one other item. I know Biden was interviewed yesterday about something about reaching across the aisle to maybe bring his cabinet member, maybe Republican. He said something about he wouldn't rule out adding a person who voted for Trump. Now, I don't know what that means, who voted for Trump, or a Republican who voted for Trump, whatever that means. But once again, this is why I had to leave the Democratic Party, because it seemed like they're too willing to. Now, I understand, I'm bringing people together. You have to do it. That's fine. But Republicans who sided with Trump and stood silent, I don't know if I'm willing to work with them. I'll have to move on. I would have to pass on that. And this is what I'm saying. Republicans shows this. I mean, Democrats, they just seem to be kind of weak when it comes to, Republicans are not going to will. I mean, they're going to will their power. If they have power, they're going to will it. The Democrats need to learn to will the power. When you get the power, will it correctly. Reaching across the aisle for some, that might be a good gesture, but the Republican Party is not going to appreciate that. They're not going to appreciate that, and they might undermine what you're trying to do. So until you get some Republicans who are willing to come to the table with good heart and with the intent of making this country go forward, and you have the Emmett Till bill, the anti-lynching bill, you also had the John Lewis Voting Act bill, until they're willing to hammer out a deal, that's why these seats in Georgia, these 2 Senate seats in Georgia, is vital. So you Georgia people, you need to really get out there and vote and show your support. And so these 2 Senate seats in Georgia is really going to be the key here for Joe Biden to actually start off strong. If they're able to capture both seats, he can really have a mandate going forward, and he can have some leverage. If maybe one seat, you still have to negotiate, you still have to bring some stuff to the table, but we'll see how it unfolds. It's always a difficult thing with these politics. These people play, they shake your hand and have a gun under the table, so to speak. So thank you for tuning in. We appreciate the time, and take care, and we wish you well. Happy holidays.